What's your best cheating the system story? Throwaway account, and I won't be going into detail of everything, but a few weeks ago I was called by an unknown number, and when I picked up I heard a familiar voice on the other end. It was my best friend who disappeared almost 30 years ago. He and I served overseas together, but after we both returned from Kuwait, he simply vanished off the face of the earth. The first thing he told me over the phone was that he was extremely sorry for never reaching out, but he'd be dead if he did, and he had so much to tell me, but it needed to be in person. He then sent me coordinates to a remote town in Nicaragua, and told me he understood if I declined, but promised to make it worth my time to visit. I debated it, and eventually decided that I'd regret it for the rest of my life if I turned him down now. I won't say what airports I traveled through for the sake of anonymity, but getting to the coordinates he sent me wasn't easy. The public transport wasn't even available to where I was going, and after getting a cab to the closest forest, I had to hike for 12 miles using a map as I had no signal. I eventually somehow made it to the town, and there I met him. I couldn't believe it. It was actually him. He lived in a little village and was a baker, but when I jokingly stated that he really left us to bake in Nicaragua, he became all serious and told me that's what he wanted to talk about. Turns out that all those years ago he didn't just disappear. He enrolled into the U.S. Air Force Academy, and after that he became a member of the Secret Service. He spent 18 years in the Secret Service, and eventually became the Special Agent in Charge, a role anonymous to the public. He officially operated under a fake alias, so when he was public, he still couldn't be found. He said that while working, he always thought he was doing honest work on behalf of the country, but being so high up made him privy to information he couldn't stand by. He told me about the true death tally of U.S. troops in Afghanistan and Iran, which was way higher than publicly reported. He told me about the fact that the U.S. is a lot more responsible for what's happening in Palestine than the public could ever imagine, and even told me that every single election in the past 40 years has been rigged. He gave proof of this too, and told me that the reason he was here in Nicaragua was because about a year ago he just up and left. He never said anything to anyone, got a fake passport, and booked a flight specifically here because of Nicaragua's poor relations with the U.S. He pulled out some files he still had with him, and showed me proof that everything he said was true. Files and emails over a year prior to the 2016 election had Trump winning over Hillary by the electoral vote. Same thing with the 2020 election. Official documents dating all the way back to 2018, showing Biden winning over Trump both by electoral and majority vote. And most importantly, files from as early as spring of 2023 stating that Trump will win against Kamala by electoral vote. He told me he feels bad for the American people because they don't know just how corrupt everything is. I listened to him intently and couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing. Then I came up with an idea. I had recently been browsing the App Store and saw this app in the top 10 free apps section called Kalshi that lets you trade election stocks to bet on the outcome. I had heard about it before and thought about buying some, but I never felt confident enough to pull the trigger. I asked my friend one more time if he was sure Trump would win, and he told me that there was a higher chance of the sun exploding tomorrow than there was of Kamala winning. That was all the confirmation I needed. So I bought a great deal of Trump stocks on Kalshi, and now I'm sitting back waiting to double my money.